Now, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, G-Man Aviation. Now in today's video, we are going to be checking out 3 of the most dangerous airports, most challenging airports to land at in the world. Of course, we will be doing this on the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 with a few different planes each time. We'll do one that can probably land there, and then a little bigger, kind of harder to do. So we have 3 airports today, more challenging ones. The first one in today's video will be Lukla. Now, Lukla Airport is located here on the side of a mountain. So you can see the surrounding terrain has lots of mountains here in pretty much everywhere you look here, you can see a mountain in the distance. So it makes it very challenging to have to navigate through these valleys or to get down close enough to get to Lukla Airport. Now, a lot of smaller planes fly here, like little Cessnas. We're going to be doing the DHC-6 Twin Otter because it has very strong reverse thrust and it's a little bigger, but I believe that it can land here. Not really in real life, but for today's purposes, we'll try this in Lukla Airport. Now, one of the harder things that it has is fog, so we will be doing a foggy landing for both of our landings here. Let's get into it. So now here we are coming into Lukla Airport in Nepal, and you can see how kind of cloudy it is and this kind of difficult approach. Now, we are based at basically 8,000 feet, so a lot higher altitudes mean a lot thinner air, which means for a little less engine performance, causing a little more problems as you come in. But you can also see how we have very foggy weather. This is kind of a normal occurrence and is the main reason why planes get canceled or delayed from this airport. And you can see we are coming into Lukla now. Full flaps, fully configured here in all of our correct things. You can actually see how slow this plane gets to the front. We're actually getting a stall warning, so we don't want to stall out before the runway. You can see we are coming in here. We do have replay mode on. Very, very successful landing there. We can go full reverse thrust. You can see this plane has a very easy time stopping. So the Twin Otter can definitely land here at Lukla. You can also see how this runway is very sloped here, going down, which does make it easier time for a plane to stop. But you also need to have enough power to push your plane up the runway. So that's why you don't really want to come to a full stop, as you might tip back. Now you can see the scenery here in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's very nice. We have a Lukla Airport little thing just like in real life, and the surrounding area looks very nice. Now we're going to check out the replay mode and see how that landing was. So here is the replay mode from our landing. You can actually see how the plane is coming in here. We had to make a pretty good turn after this valley here, because if you came in that way, you'd have to just drop down a very much. So you'll see here we're coming in very smoothly here as we come over the threshold of the runway. A little bit of a bounce there, but not too bad. Definitely a successful landing. Now let's try one of the harder kind of planes that I was talking about. Let's try the A320 here, a main commercial airliner. Let's check it out. Here we are coming into Lukla with our A320 here. You can actually see that the plane is complaining about cabin altitude, probably because we are higher up, and also the pressurization panel may not be configured correctly. Little interesting there. You can see we are coming in with our beautiful large plane. This is definitely going to be a lot harder than our DHC-6. We are now making our left turn. We do have replay mode working, so we'll see if this works. Here we are coming into Lukla, final with the landing. Ooh, that was a very hard landing. We're probably going to strike a wing. Yep, there we go. Straight down, a very, very large failure here. definitely a lot harder to do this. Let's check out our replay mode here to see how this works. You can actually see the approach here as we turned into the valley to come down into Lukla. Now we can watch this landing back. You can see how we have a little bit of a wonky approach as I am trying to correct, and we came in a little too high and basically landed straight on our nose gear. Definitely a lot harder of a airport. Now let's try the next airport and see how we do. The next airport we are going to check out will be Toncontin, one of those area names. It is located in Honduras, like bottom of Mexico area down here. You can see that it is challenging for its relatively not very short, as it's an international airport, but shorter for international airports, and also frequent rainstorms. You can even see here in the flight simulator with live weather, it's just covering the top of our view. Now for this plane, we're going to start with the 737 MAX and get higher. Let's get into it. Now here we are coming into Honduras Airport. You can see kind of how crazy the weather is. I set it to be a thunderstorm. You can see on our weather radar down in the corner of our 737 MAX. You can see how much water is flowing over the windshield currently. See, we are coming in kind of sideways here. So we're going to definitely try to get some crabbing in here to get down onto this very, very wet runway. A little hard to come in here, but we are working. This is working so far. Oh, it is no longer working. We're going to continue this attempt of a landing by just turning slightly. We got a little too slow there. Oh boy, we are absolutely down already. You could actually see why this was. Definitely not the hardest kind of challenge to do, but you can see this is my vision about 30 seconds before landing. As you can see here, we were in this very, very deep thunderstorm cloud as we attempted to kind of land at this airport. You could also see that we were almost diagonal to the airport runway. A lot harder to actually land here with this plane. So that is definitely a kind of fail, but definitely could have worked if I had a little more vision when we landed. Now, even though that didn't work, let's try to move up to the next level. Let's try to land a 777 here at this airport. Now here we are coming into the airport here. You can see we are in our 777, same weather conditions as before. We are flying in here very nicely. You can already see the amount of terrain that is around, kind of described like a bowl. You can see in the middle how lower everything is compared to where we are up a lot higher. So we're almost at 5,000 feet here as we are trying to land. We also have a 35 knot crosswind here. That's why we are flying diagonally going through the airports here. We're very low. This would not be how you'd normally fly in. But once we locate the runway, we will see this landing. We have replay mode on again, so let's check it out. So ahead of us, you can see the threshold of the runway as we come in here with our 777. Kind of the same thing. This is actually a little less visibility than what we had before, but you can still see the happy lights on the side. That's kind of what I'm going off of. But you can also see here is the start of the runway. We are coming in pretty diagonal. There we are. That was our landing. We have full reverse thrust and full auto brake going in here. Hopefully we land very nicely. Now that was definitely a much better success than our 737 landing, and that's just because I had a little more practice with the runway coming in. But you can see how much rain is really here on the ground. We did come to a safe stop here with our beautiful PMDG 777. You can see we don't even have problems with our brake temperature. So very nice. We didn't pop any tires. As you can see from the gear display down here, we did not pop any tires, and everything's good. So let's check out the last airport of the video, and let's get into it. So for the last airport of the video here, we are going to be checking out Telluride Regional Airport in Colorado. Now this is actually the highest commercial airport in the United States of America. For the first test, we are going to be testing out the Cirrus Vision Jet. Let's get into it. So now here we are coming into Telluride Regional with our beautiful Cirrus Jet here. You can see that this airport is almost at 10,000 feet above sea level. Of course, the altitude indicator of the plane tells the altitude of the airport, not the ground, or how high it is from sea level. So that is a correct reading. That is why it is the highest airport in the United States. And you can see here we are coming in nicely. Very, very good. We are a little high on the PAPI lights. You can see we are all white, which is not the best, but we are trying to make it work with what we have here. Of course, one engine on our beautiful Cirrus Jet. Of course, the goal is to get 2 red, 2 white on the PAPIs, which we have right here. We had for just a minute as we pass them here, as we then come in for a beautiful, hopefully, butter landing here. Not too bad there at all. We're now going to, oh, that was a little bit of a bounce. I did not see that. But we are now just going to hit the brakes as we don't have a very reverse thrust. But you can also see this runway is not that short. We're going to try the A330 here at Telluride Regional and see if we can make another successful landing. You can see our replay mode here. We can see how we come down from the top. We'll watch our landing over once more as we come in for the landing here. See, a little late on the touchdown zones, and we did do a pretty significant bounce when I thought we were on the ground. So that is the Cirrus Vision Jet. Let's get to the A330. Let's check it out. So here we are coming into Telluride here with our A330. We are a little low here and a little fast, but our goal is just going to be land here and hopefully land safely. As you can see, we're just going to touch down here and force ourselves on the ground. Have full reverse thrust here, full max auto brake. Hopefully this is actually turning out kind of successful at this point. We have not crashed yet. So full reverse thrust now at the end of our runway. Fully reversing in the engines, almost to a stop here. We did kind of go off into the end of the airfield, but that is actually very successful. We can see our beautiful landing here with our replay mode as we come in. We can see we came in a little too low over those trees, but I did end up being able to correct it and actually make a semi-smooth landing. That will be all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and saw how some of these airports can be challenging for pilots to land. So it's always very good that they can get these planes on the ground and get their passengers to safety. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and have a great day.